For the ruler of the synagogue had only one daughter, about 12 years of age, and she lay a dying. But as he went, the people thronged him. Jesus, he couldn't get away from these people. We see this today with, you can watch these celebrities now, how the people just flock to them. And a woman having an issue of blood 12 years, which had spent all her living upon physicians, neither could be healed of any, came behind him and touched the border of his garment, and immediately her issue of blood staunched. I believe that it's Mark, the Gospel of Mark, that says that she became worse after going to these physicians. Pulpit commented, "It may be assumed that the disease from which she suffered made her, according to the Levitical law, ceremonially unclean." Now this is very harsh. This had separated her in a great measure for a very long period from all contact with the outer world. She was probably very lonely. This would well account for her shrinking from any public appeal to the great physician. My heart, whenever I was reading this, it breaks reading about this woman and what she had to suffer. For she said within herself, "If I may but touch his garment, I shall be whole." And Jesus said, "Who touched me?" When all denied, Peter and they that were with him said, "Master, the multitude thronged thee and pressed thee, and sayest thou, Who touched me? Every one is touching you, Master." And Jesus said, "Somebody hath touched me, for I perceive that virtue is gone out of me." Jameson Fawcett Brown said, "Yes, the multitude thronged and pressed him. They jostled against him, but all involuntarily. They were merely carried along, but one only, somebody touched him. With a conscious, voluntary, dependent touch of faith, reaching forth its hands expressly to have contact with him. This and this only Jesus acknowledges and seeks out. And when the woman saw that she was not hid," kind of implying that she was trying to hide, she feared and trembled. She was a very much introverted woman. But this also goes to show how much agony that this, Jesus calls it a plague, how much that this plague had caused this woman, this poor woman, how she couldn't even be around people. She didn't want anyone to take notice of her. It's very, very heartbreaking. And when the woman saw that she was not hid, she came trembling, and falling down before him, she declared unto him before all the people for what cause she had touched him, and how she was healed immediately. McLaren noted, "She had shrunk from publicity most naturally, but if she had stolen away, she would have lost the joy of confession and greater blessings than the cure. So he mercifully obliges her to stand forth. In a moment, pay attention, in a moment she is changed from a timid invalid to a confessor, and someone who is recorded in the history for all time as one in whom stands out as being healed by the Lord himself. And he said unto her, Daughter, be of good comfort, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace." Now, not only is she standing out for this miracle that had been performed by Christ himself, but also there's another note. Alexander McLaren wrote, "Jesus calls her daughter, the only woman whom he addressed by such a name. Wouldn't that be lovely? He teaches her that her faith, not her finger, had been the medium through which his healing power had reached her. He confirms by his authoritative word the furtive blessing, Be whole of thy plague. And she goes, having found more than she sought, and felt a loving heart where she had only seen a magic-working robe. Now she knows the true healer." This is so lovely. This is so lovely. If you can't catch it, I feel sorry for people.